Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast. I know that you're going to love today because I love the subject. I love the guest that we have on today, and you're going to love her too. And what I love about today is that it is really the journey that matters. And that's what I really want to break into and break down with today's guest is just like her journey. You're going to love her story just like I do, and I can't wait to share it with you, and I can't wait to share her with you. But I am going to make you wait just a little bit and make her wait just a second because I have to give a shout out to Lynn Friselli. She said that I'm so excited to share that I have my ticket to RMS 2022. My room is booked. My flight ticket is purchased. I cannot wait to meet many of you in September. Who's going with me? And that's exactly what Lynn said, right? And she's going, right? Whichever way on the screen she is for you. But I will tell you that rms22.com, you got to check it out. We have the most referable people in the room. They love referrals. You know what they love to do? They love to give referrals to all types of professions from all over the country. So we invite you to join us if you're a listener of Referrals Podcast. You're our type of people. We'd love to see you at RMS 22, but I will tell you we sold 92 tickets the first few hours that it was open. And you know what? When it's sold out, it's sold out. So check out rms22.com and you can meet all of us. And I'm telling you, it's a really unique opportunity. We have the opening general session the first day. We have a really cool icebreaker tribe meeting. We model a lot of the things that we teach. And then the next day is opening general session after 30 mornings, of course. We have 30 mornings, then opening general session, breakout, with some of the top people in the entire country teaching you exactly what they're doing, and then lunch, and then breakout, and then closing general session. And then after that, you've got your tribe meeting, and you get to meet and mingle with some of the people in the hallway. Conversations are some of the best things about these events. And then the next day, we kind of repeat the same thing. We've got a morning ritual / I love you latte, which you'll have to attend to find out more about. And then we have the opening general session, breakout, lunch, breakout, and then we have our closing general session and award show. And I'm telling you, I love it. It's just a ball of energy for 3 days. It will re-energize your business. You will learn how to get referrals. And the way I always justify this is, what if you just learned one little thing that got you one referral in the next year? Or what if you met one person who gave you one referral in the next year? Would it pay for the trip? And we have rooms for $129. I hope they don't mind us saying that. We negotiated during COVID, during the quarantine, to get these rooms at $129. These are $497 rooms, $497 a night, $129 if you're with GenGen at the B Boutique Hotel and Resort and Spa in Orlando, Florida. We hope that you make it down. It's going to be an awesome event. Check it out, rms22.com, and I'm telling you, the best thing about it are the people. You're going to meet some of the best people in the world, in my opinion. And by the way, Nicole Aldaz is going to be there. You know why? She met someone that has given her 20 referrals in a year. So maybe that'll be your lottery winning ticket as well. We hope to see you at rms22.com. Now, one of the speakers at rms22.com and one of our certified mornings coaches and certified referral trainers is here with us today. Angela Gribbins is a North Carolina native. She is called the Denver area, not of Colorado, but the Denver area of Lake Norman, North Carolina, home since 2001. In 2002, she received her real estate license and began helping people buy and sell homes and property in this area that she loves so much. With a degree in industrial engineering, aka aka efficiency expert from NC State, she's a Wolfpack, to complement her real estate knowledge, she prides herself on making the process of buying and selling property go as smoothly and efficiently as possible. Those are keys to her goals when working with you. In 2020, she decided to take the next step in her career by earning her Certified Referral Trainer, CRT designation with Michael J. Maher, that's me, and Referco. Angela now teaches the ever-popular 30 Mornings class, East Coast version. And Angela and her husband, Scott, have 3 kids and a poodle named Splinter. Without further ado, let's welcome Angela Gribbins to the Referrals podcast. Welcome, Angela.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. I just love talking to you, so I can't wait for today.
You're the nicest. I'm telling you, and you really are the nicest. Like it's so, I mean, I want to give a shout out to like Darla Evanoff too, because you two remind me of each other a little bit in that you have this unique ability of being everybody's best friend forever. Now, I can't give you ambassador of BFF because Darla Evanoff is our ambassador of BFF. She's everybody's best friend forever. She's so supportive. She's like, I mean, she's just like she's everybody's biggest cheerleader. And you have that knack too. So I'm going to have to figure out what ambassador you are. But we'll get that through the years. But
maybe it'll be a cheerleading squad.
Ambassador of cheer. Maybe that's it. Maybe
we have to have cheerleading uniforms and stuff.
Well,
I don't know.
I will tell you that would probably increase our attendance, our male attendance at RMS 22. So let's promise that. Now we are doing an 80s theme with RMS. So I do know that some of the people in GenGen were cheerleaders in the 80s. So maybe, right? Maybe that you're not old enough to be a cheerleader in the 80s, but you know, 80s, 90s maybe. So here's the thing, right? Is what I really want to go into is your amazing journey. And honestly, I'm genuinely curious because you've been such an influencer and rock star within the generosity generation, and you did it in just a few years. You know, some people like Toril has been with us 05, right? Like 17 years, right? And you've become such an influential person. And I mean, that's the thing is people love you. And the people in 30 Mornings love you. And they love your responses. They listen. They take action based on your advice. And, you know, that's what an influencer is and an influencer does. So I want to know first and foremost, like, when did you first learn about 7L?
Well, I had to go back when we talked about doing this podcast. I had to go and actually find out when I read the book because it feels like I have known it forever. It's like a relationship. I feel like I've known it forever, but it hasn't really been that long. And I found that I downloaded it on my Kindle in 2019. But to give you just a touch of backstory, somewhere around 2017, 2018, 2019, my family went through a lot of things that were hard. And in the middle of 2019, it felt like to me that I was getting things back on track. And so I was reading everything. I read, Ninja Selling. My company is a big Ninja seller or a Ninja company. I read Listing Boss. I had probably $1 million real estate agent, whatever.
Yeah. Millionaire real estate agent.
Millionaire.
MREA.
And I remember being on vacation because I had gotten to a point where I was like, either I've got to make this real estate deal work or I need to go back to being a nerd, an industrial engineer.
Efficiency expert.
After 20 years, it's hard to go back to that.
Yeah.
But I remember I was actually on vacation and I read the book on the front porch of a beach house and read it in one sitting. And I remember closing the book, which I didn't really close the book because it was an ebook, but I posted on Facebook, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but I said, this is exactly how I want to run my business. There is no question in my mind. I probably tagged you. I tagged my broker. I tagged everybody, and all that. This is what I want to do with my life. And
So what resonated with you? Like, I mean, you mentioned some other, the CRM and other books, and those other books are fantastic as well.
oh,
What just seemed to resonate with 7L, with you?
Rick's story
Hmm.
just resonated with me. I mean, I was like, yes, I want to create these relationships. I want to create this thing that lasts. I mean, basically, when you create all of those relationships, this lasts forever. This is a legacy.
Hmm.
And that's just what I want to do. And I do tend to be an influencer in my community. I do tend to be a connector and a relationship builder. So for whatever reason, just the way that you put it down in words made absolute sense to me. I do want to say this though. I had no idea what the first strategy was in your book. All I knew was it was a story.
That's
But
actually
I
my
was
next
like,
question. Yeah, that's
that's
actually
what I want.
yeah. So it's like, all right, and there's over 100 strategies in the book, so it can be a little overwhelming. What was the first thing that you implemented from 7L?
Well, no, okay. I had already been writing notes. I was implementing when I read your book, I was implementing a little bit of something from everywhere. So here's the strategy that I think I implemented. I implemented the strategy where coach says, don't listen to anybody else.
Oh wow, yeah, focus, right? That
Because I was doing pop buys, I was doing, I was following every top coach on the internet at the time, trying to figure out how that worked for me.
yeah.
And when I came to really be part of 7L, I was like, okay, I can't listen to everybody. There are too many
Hmm.
squirrels out there.
Yeah.
And this is the only one I'm going to do.
Mm.
So, and I didn't even know I was going to say that when we came
Yeah.
on because, but
Yeah.
seriously, that's what it was. It was, no, I'm not listening to anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm
And
going
you don't
to,
want to say cut through the noise, because that's not noise. It's just focus, right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna, and I did the same thing, right? Just so you know, is before all of this, I went through buy refer only, and I mastered it very, very quickly, and that was the only thing I did, right? Is just buy refer only, and I just soaked it up. I implemented every single thing from it. I threw away the stuff that didn't work for me, and I kept the stuff that worked and then honed it. And then same thing with the Buffini stuff is I went through it, mastered it very, very quickly because I'd already mastered another one, and kind of threw out the stuff that didn't make sense and kept the two or three things that I felt like were good. Bill Cates, who runs basically runs it for financial planners. I took everything Bob Berg. I took everything he did from unlimited referrals or endless referrals, and just focused on that one thing. And I think there's a lot. I mean, I have to tell you, that might be the biggest thing that people get from this podcast today is the power of focus on one thing, like one book, one lesson, and just milk it for everything it has. Like master everything that you get from it, and run down that path as far as you go until you know it's not the path anymore. It's that mastery, the upward spiral of life thing, right? Learn, implement, fail, evaluate. Learn, implement, fail, evaluate. And the evaluate, you're going to get to the point like I did with like the other programs I talked about, where it's just like, all right, I can't really get anything more from this. I need a more mastery level. I need a different level. And I think that it honestly, that's the thing that I want everybody to take away from this is just, man, if it, and it doesn't have to be us, it doesn't have to be GenGen or 7L. It's just whatever it is, like own it, own it and master it. Mastery is
absolutely.
so underrated. So, all right. So you implemented that first of all. Was there any other strategy that you kind of took to the next level from the reading?
Actually, I'll have to say, after I read it and I said I was all excited about it,
Yeah.
I was on vacation,
Yeah,
remember?
right. Yeah.
And I went home and no, I didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Life hit you right square in
Yeah,
the face, right?
I just kept being the squirrel chaser, and I did chase things, and um until March of 2020.
Right. Which was an inflection point for many people in the world, right?
Yes.
So I talk about inflection points a lot. Angela actually knows what that means, and I'm sure a lot of listeners do. But my background, electrical engineering, computer engineering, and mathematics, inflection point is just like you're going on a straight line or a curved line, and it changes direction, right? So where it changes direction, where your trajectory changes direction, is called an inflection point. You can also change direction down too, but most of the inflection points we talk about are positive inflection points. Well, March 13th, honestly, of 2020 was a inflection point for the most part for a lot of people, at least down, because the epidemic hit and lockdown hit and quarantine hit. So what happened after quarantine?
Well, surprisingly, again, I was at the beach when quarantine happened. Apparently, that's where my inflection
It's
points happen.
life moments for
Hmm.
you on the beach. I'm telling you.
So, my family was on a vacation. We own a home, a family home, on the coast of North Carolina, and we had gone down for a few days, and the world shut down. And I mean, it could have been worse. We could have been stuck somewhere else when the world
Yeah,
shut
yeah,
down.
yeah. Somewhere
But
frozen, right?
yeah, I know. It was, I mean, well, it wasn't, it was March. It wasn't
Yeah.
really warm then, but um
Spoken like a true beachcomber, right? It was freezing. It was like
I was wearing
65.
a
It
hoodie.
was literally
Yeah.
60. I'm wearing a
Yeah.
hoodie, right? I get it.
I had socks on. Um, but it was kind of like one of those moments when you go, okay, well, what next?
Hmm.
What do I do? And suddenly I had this odd amount of time when I was chasing all the squirrels. It was, I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do all of these things, and if I don't do them, I will not be successful.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, I didn't have to do anything
There you
because
go. Right.
everybody was so full of uncertainty
Hmm.
that they weren't doing anything. So I do not know exactly how I ended up in the GenGen group on Facebook, but I would love to know what I searched on Google to
Mm.
find it, because if I knew that, then I'd know how to market myself.
Hmm.
Um, but I ended up falling into the generosity generation on Facebook, and you had just started doing Daily Dose.
Hmm.
And like I said, I was in this position where I really couldn't work. I couldn't go out and do one-on-ones. I was just I was hanging out at the beach. It was nice.
Yeah.
Um, but I put you on my calendar. I was like, okay, well, he says this works, so I may as well listen to him. And every day at, what was it, 1 o'clock,
Yep. One Eastern.
I was there.
Yeah.
And I was there and I was there and I was there and I was listening to this amazing content that you were putting out that you weren't charging a penny for.
Hmm.
And I was just like, okay, I'm sold. This is something I'm going to listen to, and if he says it works, I'm going to do it. And that was the beginning of my GenGen
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. And for those of you that are maybe newer to the Referrals podcast, we had just kind of started the podcast, but this is a testament to the power of systems. Well, we had created a system for our podcast, which you might think, well, you're only doing it once a week. Do you really need a system? Well, if you're going to do it more than once ever, I believe you should create a system. So we had a system for it. What happened is March 13th hit, and I literally, like, God made me for this moment. Like, I need to stand up and be a lighthouse for my community. And we started what we called the daily dose of positivity and productivity it literally started on March 20th, which was one, and I did a crisis response 101, which is, all right, what do we do? And then I had some of the best guests in the world who readily agreed to help the world through my podcast, the Daily Dose of Referrals podcast. And they brought positivity and productivity. And the whole thing was, we're going to be positive about this. And the productivity was, we're going to assign one task basically for the day. And you get this done, you feel like you had a successful day. And honestly, it helped a lot of people get through the epidemic and the quarantine. And the response was, I mean, Jana Caudell still talks about it. She didn't have a Facebook group. One week, our big focus was creating your Facebook group. Now she's got over 10,000 in her group, and she's gotten so many referrals and so much business from it. And it's changed her business in her local area. So that was the Daily Dose. And then for those of you that aren't familiar, we have a group, joingengen.com, which is Generosity Generation. It's a large referral group. And we invite you to be on if you're a podcast listener. We'd love to have you at joingengen.com. All right. So you started listening to the Daily Dose, right? What did you do next? What was the next thing that you started doing with those broadcasts?
The next thing was, you put a call out for moderators for your Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it vividly. I was sitting at my dining room table. My computer was in front of me, and I was like, "Oh, yes, enter."
Mm-hmm. You volunteered to be a moderator.
I volunteered to be a moderator. And oh my gosh, what an amazing opportunity that was for me to kick my comfort zone to the side and go, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It's a Facebook group. I can totally leave. Mm-hmm. I don't have to stay.
And we had less than 1,000 people. You got to realize the Facebook group started March 14th of 2020. And here's the thing that I hope people understand about me is I teach what we do for the most part, right? So it's like, all right, so if I'm going to tell everybody to create a Facebook group and also get moderators and create groups and create content for your Facebook group, then I guess I should probably create a Facebook group, get moderators, and create content, aka the Daily Dose Live, Facebook Live. And some of those technical glitches back then when Zoom was so overwhelmed was just crazy. But I love that you became a moderator. You stepped up. And that's the thing that I want to throw out is everybody, if you've got a Facebook group, it may be time for you to put it back out there for volunteers, for moderators, because those who want to be more involved will raise their hand and they're moving towards you. And it could end up being an Angela freaking Gribbins. It could be this great ambassador who's influential who just embodies everything that you want in your group. So you became a moderator, right? And then,
yes.
How about after that?
So, I became the #1 fangirl. I'm pretty sure that's what I was.
You definitely were top 10.
I think I hashtagged myself as #1.
And you shared it with your whole office. I remember that, right? You're like Lake Norman people.
I did. I had you come and talk to my people.
Exactly. And they did. They came, right? They're like, I want whatever Angela's drinking, so let's go, right? And they
if you offered it, I did it, is basically what it came down to. If there was something, I mean, again, this whole internet and virtual world, it gave me this little safety net of, if I want to pop off, I can disappear.
That's
but oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah. so 30 mornings, right? 30 mornings and the 30-day challenges and several little things. And then you became a CRT, certified referral trainer, right? And
yes, if you offered it, I did it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to really respond to that other than just saying thanks, thank you. Hopefully the investment was worth it. I think it sounds like it has been. So you CRT is Certified Referral Trainer. So what did you get out of that? I mean, here's what I love is I don't have to ask you anymore. Why did you take that? Right? I mean, the beautiful thing about what you did is you bought in, and so the why was you offered it essentially, right? And some people are like, well, she's a sucker, or she's a sheep, or she's a follower, or whatever you want to call it. And the thing, no, she was focused and she trusted that whatever. And I'm telling you that there's a lot of pressure on this end to make sure whatever we do it doesn't ever belie their trust, because that's the people in GenGen, they tend to sign up for what we put out. Why? Because they know it's going to be worth the investment and hopefully a lot more. And so I kind of what made CRT CRT is like one of the most expensive things we do, right? So what was the biggest benefit to you or advantage that you got from CRT?
Well, going back to why I even felt confident enough to do CRT was that I had taken anything that you offered and had taken, before I took CRT, I think I had taken 30 mornings twice.
Yeah. And
I had seen the people who were proof that doing 7L worked. So it was kind of a no-brainer. If I can go deeper into it, then I know I can make it work even better. Not to mention, it was 2020 and I was doing pretty well in real estate, doing just the small amount that I had learned.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember or not, but we also did other, beyond the daily dose, there were other meetings that we had that, Neil Smith with time blocking. I had learned so much that it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there because I'm going to learn more. I'm going to have that time with these people who are like-minded, and I don't need any downers. I need to know that I'm moving forward. And I knew that if I participated, I would be moving forward.
Yeah. And you had a teacher's heart too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's probably my very favorite strategy of 7L is each one teach one.
Yeah.
So
explain that to us. What does that mean to you?
That means that if it works for you, teach it to somebody else, because then you're going to learn it better.
That's right.
And that has been a major part of my life for the last almost 2 years now.
Yeah. And it's a key to mastery. Right? Yeah. Is when, when one person teaches another, two people are learning, but the person who's teaching is probably learning twice as much as the person who's actually learning. And
absolutely,
it's so powerful, because when you learn it to teach it, then what happens is you learn the facets, you learn the little, the little things that make the biggest difference, the tweaks that can help other people, especially if you're implementing what you're teaching. There's just so much value there.
Well, and one of the things that you said was you do what you teach. So you started your Facebook group because you told the people who you were teaching to create a Facebook group. Well, if I was teaching it, I have to do it. I don't have a choice.
Yep. And that's why
otherwise I'm being a hypocrite.
And that's why your fearless partner, the dynamic duo of Polly and Angela, right? That's why Polly takes 30 mornings. Right. And teaches 30 mornings, is because he becomes better at 30 mornings during those months that he's teaching it. Right. Absolutely. There's accountability associated with it, and you just become better. You're like, oh, you know what? Now that the 5th time I've taught it or learned it, I get it now, like the little lemon water thing, right? Or the little different in the meditation. So, all right. So you're teaching 30 mornings now, East Coast representative, right? And you're presenting at RMS 22, which is coming up in September. So how does that make you feel? Like, looking that it just happened in literally like really 3 years. But if you look at March of 2020, 2.5 years.
See, this is where Sherry told me I can't cry.
We all have allergies, right? Yeah.
I have to tell you, Michael, that 30 years ago, and we share a love for Zig Ziglar, you and I.
Amen.
And 30 years ago, I went to Born to Win, the seminar in Plano, Texas, spent money I didn't have, took time off I didn't have from work. And I went to his seminar, which was absolutely life-changing.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting there in that classroom and watching those trainers and watching those coaches and saying, that is what I want to do. That is what I want to give the world. And I was 24, 25. I mean, what did I know about what I wanted to give to the world then? And what 30 Mornings and RMS has allowed for me, see, this is where the tears come. This is where the allergies start out, is the opportunity to go back. And, life gets in the way. I can look back and know that was what I kind of had a calling for in 1994. Oh God. But
90s. It's all good.
90s.
Back then.
But this has given me that opportunity to actually make an impact on people the way I had dreamed of during my 4 days with Zig Ziglar and the Redhead and Brian Tracy and all of those amazing coaches that he had working for him at that time. And to be able to actually do it. And it was kind of something that I'd kind of given up on. So, like I said, that's what 30 Mornings does for me. That's what, speaking at RMS, that's what meeting these people who I'm so curious what they look like. I mean, I know what they look like on Zoom,
real people,
but how tall are they?
Yeah. They don't all look like Max Headroom, right? I mean, it's like it's like, no, they actually look like real people.
You've given me that opportunity, and I'm humbled by that you have given me this opportunity, because it is something much far beyond real estate. It's far beyond what I came into it for.
Well, that's, I think, a big attraction for what we do that's different than a lot of places is, this podcast is not me speaking or me interviewing Oprah or any of these celebrities that nobody can freaking relate to, right? And it's just not me talking, right? It's not my show. It's your show. It's the Referrals podcast. And it's real people, real stories, real referrals. And, the nice thing is, what's funny when we started is like, well, one of the things we can do is profile our clients. And I was like, well, what if we run out of clients before we run out of episodes? Well, we're going to go a long time without running out of that at this point, because we have so many beautiful success stories like yours. And that's what I love about this. But see, I could just make the podcast be us interviewing our success stories. But the thing that I love that we designed our company a little differently was not just my platform. GenGen is this, it's not my platform. It's everybody's platform. And, we've helped Tommy make a name. We've helped Polly make a name. We've helped you make a name. And how do we do that? Well, we have these classes that people can step up and teach after they've implemented, right? It's like, hey, implement this several times. And it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but it means you're going to be ahead of whoever you're teaching. And that's the beauty of 30 Mornings is you're ahead. You've taken it a lot of times. You've taught it a lot of times. And people love you as a teacher because you're so real. And you're like, listen, I still am not perfect at this, but I do a really good job of it. And, hopefully you can create your ultimate morning ritual too. All right. So, kudos to you and how cool. I love, like, this is why I do what I do right here. You being so appreciative, honestly, and taking advantage of the opportunity of the platform that we have here to make a difference, but not giving up your day job, right? What I don't want a bunch of people who want to be professional speakers and coaches and trainers. What I want is people who are kicking butt in their business And then this is a way for them to share the success and feel significance, right? And it's all about success and significance, both. You can't have just one. I'm telling you, I've been a success without significance, and it was the horrible life. I was not happy, right? When I really became happy was when I had success and significance. And hopefully that's the opportunity, we've helped with and you help with, which is so cool. What's been your biggest takeaway of the last 2.5 years?
You deserve your success.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about me, or are you talking
about?
Of
course, I'm talking about you.
Or was that an affirmation, right?
That's
or
an
are you talking to
affirmation.
listeners? Or are you talking to the viewers right now? Or you deserve your success is it's a really powerful 4 words, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we are all.
Are you saying that you deserve your success?
Yeah.
So you would say, I deserve my success.
I deserve my success.
There it is, right? So all right. So what does that mean to you?
It means that I have done the work and I have been the person that I need to be to have the success that I've had. Mm-hmm. And success doesn't just mean money. Mm-hmm. I am not necessarily $1 zillion in GCI, but I do well.
You spend a lot of time on a beach. I'm just telling you that I think a lot of people would consider you very, very, very successful. So
one day I will spend way more time on a beach than I do now.
And teach a lot more, I hope, right?
I hope so too.
Yeah.
But that's what I want. That's one of the things when 30 mornings is so much more than creating your ultimate morning ritual. 30 mornings, we get pretty raw in there. And I think one of the things that I found is kind of universal is people don't necessarily, it's your first love yourself. People don't give themselves credit for what they do, and you deserve your success. If you are going to put the time, the money, the effort, you deserve to be successful. And I find a lot of people thinking they're always behind, they're always not as good as, they are not enough. Mm-hmm. And we are all enough just because we are. And I'm sorry, I get a little, metaphysical or whatever about that, but that is my one aha from seven levels. And you may never intended that to be something that somebody would take away as an aha, but that is mine, is you deserve your success.
It's is it the primary intent? I don't know, but it kind of is if you break down the word deserve, right? Deserve is really de serve, right? And de, for those of you that know Latin, de means of, and serve means service, right? So it's serve to deserve. So the more you serve, right, the more you are of service, the more you deserve. And it's one of those where, anybody can serve, right? Anybody can serve. And anybody can help another person. You can help up, or you can help down, or you can help laterally, but we can all help. And I think that's the more you serve, it seems like the more you deserve. And it's just like you hit it on the head, is that this is predicate. This is the thing, is if you're always going out looking to serve, then when you get it back, you don't fight it as much as you might if you weren't doing a lot of service, right? You're like, oh, I don't, why am I getting this? I really didn't. How many, I've gotten awards I really didn't earn, right? And it was very awkward. I'm like, no, you're giving me way too much credit for that, right? And then there's other times where it's like, I totally deserve the honor or the award or the recognition or credit that I got. And I need just like appreciate that, right? Bring it on. And
be an appreciative receiver.
That's right. As well as a generous giver.
You taught me that too.
Yeah. So, I only taught it because I had to learn it myself many, many times, especially the appreciative receiver part. Generous giver was really easy for me, right? It was the appreciative receiver that was a big part of it. But I think it's one of those where I deserve my success, you deserve your success is a big central part of this, is that you are the gift. Right? You are the gift, and I am the gift. And we have the ability to, we don't need trinkets. We don't need to do Popeyes, right? We don't need to take ketchup and mustard to somebody that's, already has ketchup and mustard, right? What we need to do is find out what they really want, and then we have we bring them to us, right? If they're coming towards us, then it's attractive versus chasing. I'm telling you, chasing is not going to get you more business. Attracting is going to get you more business. So I think, and you are the gift. You are the gift, and you have 7 gifts of generosity that if you can listen to a podcast I did on that a long time ago. But all right, so what advice would you give to someone that is just like, there's people that listen to our podcast. Now we're getting over 15,000 downloads a month, right? So it's like, there are people who out of that are just being exposed to 7L, the generosity generation, the whole referral mastery system for the very first time. What advice would you give to someone that's brand new? Like, look them in the eye right now and just like, all right, this is my advice.
Focus. Do what? Well, of course, read the book.
Yeah.
But
I like that one. Read 7L.
Focus and do what coach says. Mm-hmm. Follow coach's advice and for 30 days or however long. I'm not really sure how long coaching happened with coach, but just do 7L. And here's the other thing. Come into it expecting it to change your business. Mm-hmm. But plan on it changing your life.
Yeah.
Because it will change your business. I mean, if you follow the strategies of 7L, I mean, even a fraction of the strategies of 7L, it is going to change your business. Mm-hmm. More likely for the better, but more importantly for me, I mean, from my viewpoint, is going to change your life.
Yeah.
You are going to have deeper relationships with the people who you serve than you would have otherwise.
Yeah.
So, just have those expectations, because I promise if you put your head down and you do the work, it's going to change your business and your life.
I mean, first of all, thank you for saying that. And the biggest thing that's so awesome about this episode is if I say it, right? If I say, hey, focus on 7L and just go totally GenGen for 30 days, which is why we have all these 30-day challenges, right? And it's like, focus is an acronym. Finish one challenge until success, right? That's why we have the 30-day challenges, and it fits with focus. You can focus on one part of your business for 30 days. And if I said all that, like, there's a vested interest in it, right? So, he just wants more coaching clients. He wants more, people in RMA, and he wants more. And it's like, no, it's like the truth, right? Whatever you do, you need to focus. You need, like you said, put your head down, put your blinders on, and just give it its worthwhile time, right? Give it its time. Give it its while, and it will pay you back. And, I mean, it has worked for you, right? And and I think that's phenomenal. We've never had anybody. I at the end of every episode, I always, what are your words of wisdom? Most people just do it, right? Just, especially the high D's, right? Just do it, which resonates with like 5% of the population, But it's like what you just said is I have to tell you, it's got to be one of the top words of wisdom that you could ever share about. I remember a guy, it might have been Zig Ziglar, who told me, like, I'm a voracious reader. Like, I told him, you know what? I think I read 52 books last week. Last year. I read 52 books last year. And I've read over 2,500 books up to this point. And Zig goes, I've got a challenge for you. I've got a challenge for you, Michael
Oh,
Mayer. And it's like, it's Mayer, but go ahead. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that.
you
But I
better
mean, I
not
loved him
have
so much. I loved him so much. I got my own TRH, right? I got my own redhead, right? And maybe there was subliminal there that I always
Yeah.
like was looking for TRH, because I was so in. But Zig. I mean, Zig. Without Zig, I didn't have the audiobook. I would have never done. He was like, your realtors, totally pronounced wrong again. And my last name he always did wrong, but it's like realtors go to Automobile
Well,
University every single day, Michael Mayer, and it's like, you got to get yourself an audio book. And 2 weeks later, I'm in Orlando recording my audio book. And, but I just remember it was one of those where, I think I probably got it from him. And his challenge was, don't read 52 different books, read one book and read it 12 times. And I went back and I read How to Win Friends and Influence People 12 times.
Ooh, good one.
And I learned something every read. And by the way, I've read that book over 24 times. Dale Carnegie's a genius. I still continue to get a lot of wisdom out of it every single year. And it's focus. Why? And obviously that imprinted on my brain because the entire 7L system, mushrooms from Zig and the psychology of selling with Brian Tracy and how to win friends and influence people, right? And obviously that's the foundation of all this. And God bless Zig Ziglar, rest in peace, and what a great mentor he was. And but it's focus, right? Finish one challenge until success. Whatever it is, get done. How many people have open-ended loops in their life? Close the loop, like finish the project, like finish one challenge until success. There's nothing worse than unfinished projects. And the thing is we get jumping to the next thing, shiny squirrel syndrome, and we get to doing all, and nothing's ever finished, nothing ever complete, nothing ever ships, right? And it's just one of those where I that is such great advice. I love that you shared that with us today, and I want to end right there because I don't want people to forget that it really is focused. Finish one challenge until success, and just put your blinders on, your head down, and your nose to the grindstone, and master it.
And if you spend 30 days doing that and it doesn't do something to change your business, then what did you really lose? I mean, 30 days of
but you can also
writing
check it off.
notes.
Yeah. Well, you could check it off and put it behind you. Right? I mean, that's the power of it is, okay, I you know what? I found out it doesn't work. So I'm going to go do this over here. I love it.
Exactly.
Angela, I love you too. You're one of the best.
Good.
You're one of my favorites. You're one of my 8,000 favorite at this point. So
No, thanks.
one of the top tops. But it is also a good reminder to me. I wrote down notes is we need to open it up to moderators again, right? And just bring on 10 or 12 people that may be new to the community that want to get more involved. I love that. I love that idea, and I love it coming into Referral Mastery Summit. So, by the way, you're speaking at Referral Mastery Summit, right?
Yes, sir. I am.
And I'll tell you, people need to come see you. They need to come to RMS22.com. It's in Orlando, Florida. Before I leave with the last part here, Angela, I just want to thank you once again for being our guest today on the Referrals Podcast.
Thank you, Michael.
Angel with an A. That's Angela Gribbins with 2 B's out of Lake Norman, North Carolina. Refer her, people. Refer her, Lake Norman, North Carolina. It's God's country, according to her. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Referrals Podcast. You're helping us grow. Here we grow again, and it's your fault. I'm blaming you, and thank you. But if you liked what you heard today, rate us, review us, subscribe, share it with someone you know about today's lesson, especially maybe somebody who has a little shiny squirrel syndrome and it seems to be chasing every little thing and needs some focus. Today's episode really was all about focus, and I'm telling you, it's one of those that when you focus, it's a beautiful thing. I wish upon you focus and specificity. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know our next episode is going to be one of our best ever. You thought this was good. The next one is going to be almost as good, or as good, or better for some of you. We'll see. But we'll see you next time on the next episode of Referrals Podcast. We'll see you, everybody. Love you.